Ever wondered what it'd be like to build something truly extraordinary? Like not just putting together some shelves from, a certain Swedish furniture giant, but something sacred from scratch?
You mean like a sacred space?
Exactly. That's what we're diving into this time, the blueprints for the tabernacle. Exodus chapters 25 to 27, they lay out these meticulous plans for building a portable temple.
It's incredible when you think about it. The Israelites, just freed from centuries of slavery, carrying these instructions through the wilderness, a physical manifestation of God right there with them.
That level of devotion, holding on to that promise amidst so much uncertainty, it's powerful.
They were literally carrying these detailed plans through the desert. And speaking of details,
The materials, right? We're talking gold, silver, fine fabrics, even specific types of wood like acacia. What's interesting to me is it's practical and luxurious all at once, and all dedicated to something so much bigger than themselves. What do you think about that?
it's almost poetic, isn't it? Those materials, especially gold, they weren't just valuable, they were symbolic.
How so?
Well, gold, in the ancient world, its incorruptibility, it made it this powerful symbol of the divine. Imagine, the Israelites, they've just escaped oppression, and they're using these very materials that probably adorned their captors' idols now to craft the ark. It adds a whole other layer to this idea of sacrifice, of renewal.
Oh, absolutely. And the acacia wood.
Brilliant touch, right?
Durable, but also readily available in the desert. It's like even in the harshest environments,
Yeah.
the materials for the sacred can be found.
Exactly. It's like the blueprints themselves were this testament to the belief that God's presence wasn't limited to just a specific location, but could be built, rebuilt wherever they went.
It speaks to that human need, doesn't it? That even in the wilderness, there's this desire to create a space for the sacred. And speaking of sacred spaces, we have to talk about the Ark of the Covenant. This wasn't just any treasure chest. Solid wood overlaid with gold, topped with cherubim. It's described with such reverence and detail.
It wasn't just a container, was it?
No, it was the symbol of God's covenant with the Israelites.
The Ten Commandments housed inside, the gold representing the divine presence residing within.
It's almost like the Ark itself became this physical embodiment of that sacred promise.
Exactly. And then there are the cherubim, these powerful, often kind of scary angelic beings, now depicted as guardians of this most holy object. Their presence on top of the ark, it adds a layer of awe, don't you think? Protection.
Like they're saying, this is serious business, folks. This is where the divine meets the earthly.
And speaking of meeting points, we can't forget the atoning cover, the lid of the ark. Powerful image, isn't it? That atoning cover, this bridge between humanity and the divine. It makes you think about how the Israelites must have felt knowing this was the designated spot where God communicated with Moses.
It's amazing, though, isn't it? It wasn't just the grand objects like the Ark that held deep meaning. Even something as simple as a table. It gets incredible attention in these blueprints. You're so right. It's easy to just gloss over. But the detail dedicated to this table, acacia wood, the gold overlay, the specific dimensions, it's clearly not just about practicality.
Definitely not.
This wasn't just a table, it was the designated spot for the bread of the presence, this constant offering to God.
A visual reminder of God's provision, even in the barren wilderness.
And it wasn't just about the bread itself, right? The act of preparing it, presenting it each week, that must have been incredibly powerful for them.
It's fascinating, isn't it? How food and ritual, they're so intertwined in so many cultures. Even today, think about it, how many celebrations, moments of connection revolve around a shared meal.
It's this ancient universal language, offering, communion.
Absolutely. Just sharing a meal, even simple bread, it's elevated, isn't it? Something sacred. It's like this tangible way of acknowledging our dependence on something larger than ourselves.
Okay, get ready for this. We're moving on to the golden lampstand. Of all the objects described in the tabernacle, this one really gets my imagination going.
What is it about the lampstand?
I don't know. 7 lamps, this intricately designed, with almond blossoms and buds, all hammered from pure gold. It's like something out of a legend.
It's a powerful image, isn't it? This radiant symbol of light piercing through the darkness. And of course, in the context of the tabernacle, that light, well, it represents God's presence, holiness, radiating out for the Israelites.
And the detail about keeping those lamps lit constantly, it speaks to this deep longing, I think, for that constant connection with the divine. Like, we want to live in that light, always.
Exactly. And think about it. The sheer craftsmanship involved. Someone had to hammer out all those details from pure gold That wasn't just a job. It was an act of devotion.
It makes you wonder about those artisans, the ones who poured their hearts and souls into crafting these objects.
And that brings up a really important point. We've been talking about these individual objects, but the tabernacle itself, it was a massive collaborative effort.
It was.
The text mentions all these skilled artisans, embroiderers, weavers, metalworkers.
Oh, coming together.
Each one contributing their unique talents.
It's easy to overlook that, isn't it?
It is. We get caught up in the grandeur of the ark or the symbolism of the lampstand, but the tabernacle itself, it was a testament to the power of collective action.
It really was.
Each person, no matter their skill, they played a vital role in creating this sacred space.
Imagine that sense of purpose. Everyone coming together, contributing to something so much larger than themselves.
The act of building itself, it becomes an act of devotion, a testament to their shared faith.
It's amazing, isn't it, how these stories, this ancient craftsmanship, it still resonates even today.
It's that human desire, maybe, to be part of something bigger, to contribute to something meaningful.
And it's not just about the grand gestures either. It's the care, the intention in every detail. Even in the midst of hardship, the Israelites, they put creating the sacred space first. Every element from the Ark of the Covenant down to, well, I don't know, the smallest detail on that lampstand.
It makes you think. Our modern world, it's all about efficiency, getting things done quickly. But the tabernacle, it reminds us that sometimes the most meaningful things, they take time, dedication, a willingness to really pour yourself into something larger than yourself.
It's not just about a temple, is it? It's about building a life, a community, a world that reflects our values, our aspirations.
And maybe, just maybe, if we take the time to consider the why behind the what, if we take that sense of the sacred and bring it into the everyday, well, who knows what we could create.
Like these blueprints, they aren't just about a physical structure, are they?
No, not at all. They're a blueprint for a life well lived.
A reminder, even in the midst of challenges, uncertainties, there's always space for meaning, beauty, for connection, something greater than ourselves.
Welcome to Charlie and Mia's podcast. We're embarking on an exciting journey to read through the entire Bible in just 1 year. Every day, we dive into Scripture, exploring its meanings and how it applies to our lives today. We invite you to join us on this incredible adventure of learning and discovery. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you never miss an episode.